Readers, welcome to a special edition book launch at Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing. We have A Seed Once Sown, a Misplaced Adventures novel. It is the first book in the Huntress and Harvester series by Jessica Rainey. Jessica Rainey grew up in the hills of southeastern Ohio looking for the Mothman and every other thing that goes bump in the dark Appalachian night. When not writing, she's navigating Houston traffic and enjoying the Gulf Coast with a weird little dog named Gimli. And her editor, Jessie Sprague, is on tonight as well. She is a compulsive writer. She can't help it. She writes prolifically. She writes because she must. And luckily for you, she's also an amazing editor who brought this book to life. And we're going to need a longer intro with all of these awesome people for our new thing. See what we're learning? See what we're learning? Hello, welcome, Jessica and Jessie. I'm going to try not to say anything wrong this evening. How are you?
Well, I could be better, Kelly. It's been a terrible trial of a day for me.
Are you down to one screen too? I mean,
I only ever have one screen because I guess I haven't sold enough copies of a book yet to buy two.
Tonight's the night. Tonight's the night.
Maybe tonight I'll finally get to that screen, that second screen. I don't know.
We'll get out of this horrible hole we're in. Well, we are here tonight to celebrate the release of A Seed Once Sown, and this is our second book in this new adventure where we are expanding Misplaced Adventures with 6 different authors. And Jessica, you are our second, so thank you so much. How does it feel to be a part of this new adventure?
It's wonderful. It's not something I ever thought I would do, so I say yes to everything except, well, I mean, not everything, but
well, for the writing career,
most everything. No, I'm really excited about it. I'm sure we'll get into it. This book is very special for multiple reasons, and it's just I'm grateful that I was asked to be a part of it. I'm grateful for all the help I got during it. And I'm grateful for everybody who reads it. And I hope that someday I get 2 screens. And then
someday. It's a dream for the future. And
people live like this.
I don't know. I can't imagine. I don't even know. I mean, I only have 2 screens. I need a third. Oh, Ethan says they'll donate to orphans. Yeah. Buy Jessica's book so she can get a new monitor. That's right, Ethan. Support us. And the link just got placed actually on both. Nicely done, Zafo. Nicely done. You can also just go to curseddragonship.com/A Seed Once Sown, and that'll take you right there too. So get your copies now. So Jessie, this is like the second book you've worked on with us, but the first one published, yes?
Yes, that would be accurate.
I love it. Well, before we get too much farther, why don't we go ahead and have Jessica Rainey read the back cover copy so y'all know what awesomeness you are about to experience.
Okay, this print's really small, and I do not have bifocals yet because I can't afford it. If you buy more books, I mean, okay. So, I actually am gonna have to take my glasses off and read like my grandma. So
I love it. It makes me happy.
The seeds of a legend grow in tales told around campfires and in whispers in dark corners of taverns. Magdalena Varon is a legend, a hunter who never misses her mark or loses a bounty. But now the legend is about to come to an end. For over 300 years, she's harvested souls as an indentured servant to a pair of bickering gods. With her team of horses and an impressive magical blue scythe for a hand, Mags is poised to deliver the last soul she owes. Then her debt will be settled, and the gods can go pick on someone else for a change. But life, even 1 century old, is never that simple, and reaping leaves behind scars on the families and the harvester. Before she can turn in her scythe, Mag's past transgressions catch up to her in the form of a trio of young criminal wannabes. Saving them just might be a way to balance her sins. But between the involvement of the gods and the trio's own recklessness, Magdalena finds her skills and patience tested. Somehow Megs must find a way to avoid angering the gods further, complete her new bounty without adding more black marks to her soul, and save the trio of young adventurers who seem determined to wind up dead. Pulled in multiple directions, Mags's legendary skills are put to the test. One misstep, and she endangers the lives of her young companions and her own soul.
I feel like we should say dun dun dun.
Dun, dun.
I love it. I love it. Well, when this entire adventure was just a gleam in the creator's eye, Jessica, you and Jesse were able to meet at Superstars, and it's not always that an editor and an author get to really get together and know each other before they work on each other's work. What was the benefit to being able to do that?
I think meeting before we started working, I got to know what she writes. She got to know more about me and what I write, and then our personalities. I don't know anybody who's never gone through an editing process. You write this thing and you're like, oh, I hope it's okay. And then someone else reads it and they're like, well, it's not quite okay yet, but here's some stuff you should do. So knowing each other, like I knew her and I trusted her because I knew what she wrote. She's a horror writer. I dabble in the horrors and read a lot of it. So, we kind of had that, we knew the direction we were going with something. And, also I just like her. So it's easy to take feedback from someone who I trust and like and respect. Not that I wouldn't have trusted and liked and respect her if I'd not met her in person, but it just kind of helped out. I mean, we had a few adult beverages in an Irish pub somewhere. I mean,
it does. I think it helps with trust and it helps with communication, because a lot of times when you're only communicating by email and in notes, things can be taken the wrong way. And it felt like I didn't have to be quite as delicate all the time or question whether I was coming across right, because I knew she knew my voice.
Yeah.
So there was a level of comfort that often isn't there, because which I guess you'd have if you're coming in with the second book with an author anyway. Like you'd already know your editor, you'd already know how they communicate, how you communicate, how you work together. We just got to come in with that already in place.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really nice. Sometimes I put an author and editor together. I'm like, it'll work. With you two, I was like, yeah, they'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah, this totally works. So I am wondering, Jessica, we had some questions from the crowd. One was from Friday Blue. Which god was Mag's favorite to aggravate? Because she has two gods. You want to give us a little bit about the gods that she has to deal with?
Yeah, she is, she's sort of caught between Matchie the Huntress and Kohak the Harvester. So, she definitely has a low tolerance for Matchie after 300 years of having to deal with this hot mess. So Mags is over that. That was a lot of fun to write, like her being not in any way impressed by this god and just barely being differential enough not to get eternally tormented. So that was really fun. But she has a soft spot for Kohak the Harvester. So tormenting them, I mean, she definitely does not give a crap about what Matchie thinks. She just wants to avoid pain for as long as she can. So she's just barely differential. I think I put that in the book. She was just barely respectful enough to get by. And that was fun to write. That's like writing a teenage kid trying to get away with stuff. So
she's centuries old. It totally works.
Yes.
But we are talking about gods she's dealing with, so that's kind of, that relationship makes sense. And Jesse, I know, being intimately involved in this, that you asked Jessica to do some pretty tough things in this story. Some things she was thinking maybe she didn't really want to do, but she understood that it really made sense for the story. I'm wondering, we can't tell you. You're going to have to read the book if you want to see what it was. You'll know when it happens. You'll know. And so I'm wondering that when you actually had to approach that kind of thing, how did you go about that? Like, did you tell her just do it because I told you to, or?
No, what I said is, here's what's not working in this scene for me. Here's what I think would make it work. I understand why you might not want to do that, but what you need to address is this underlying issue that isn't working. And then for me, I'm not writing the story. It's not my narrative. It has to be what she sees. But I can tell her what isn't working, and I can give her a suggestion. If she doesn't like that, then she gets to come up with something else to fix it.
Yes. Yeah, that's very true, right? So, and that was one thing I really appreciated was, okay, there's something not right about this. You know what's not right about it. Now fix what's not right about it. However you choose to do that is your problem. But and that happened a couple places. That was in a few places, because that's what happens in a first draft to a second draft. This is not going to work, or this is just not quite hitting it. I do think part of the advantage of knowing each other is, I think she knew what I was trying to get at, and that was the best part, was her picking at that and saying, come on, I know what you think, you're just not quite there, go a little more. And that was when I finally got the comment yes, like in capital letters. I was like, okay, I can do this then. That's fine.
You're like, it hurts, but I did it. Oh, I mean, cat butt. That doubles our ratings. We've talked about this before. Always.
Must be. Right. He's about to get yeeted. I have used that word correctly. I have yeeted the cat. Don't worry, he'll be back. He has no sense of self-preservation.
Or maybe they're just not afraid of you.
No, they're not at all.
No. Avatar says they have a phobia of editors. Don't we all? Even us who are editors, because all the editors I employ, except for one, they are also writers. So Jesse, you are also a writer, as I read your bio. That is, and that's what we talked about. You love to write horror, and horror is your thing. And this book has a little more horror than some of the other books. Like, there's some pretty dark things that happen in here. And that was kind of the benefit, to have every story has its own feel because it's a different author. So I was wondering, Jess, if you tried there's two Jesses. If I say Jess, who am I talking to? It could be either, huh?
Either. Yeah, it could be. I tend to go by Jess. Yes, I respond to them both as well. Jesse, I will probably not respond to.
I think there's only one Jesse. There's only one Jessica, but there's two Jesses. Sorry. It's not confusing. It's not confusing at all. If this was a novel we were writing, the editor would make us change one of your names, just for the record.
Oh, yes.
But I'm wondering, Jesse, did you really hone in on the horror stuff because that's something that both of you share? Or did you try to avoid it since it is a fantasy?
To be honest, I don't even see it. My stuff is so dark, I often don't even think I'm being dark or writing dark or reading dark until someone tells me it is. So I think it's more, if there isn't that element, it's harder for me to connect. So I don't know how to answer that question.
You're like, this was a lighthearted rom-com. What are you talking about?
I actually think we had that, a little chat about that. Do I have room to go darker here or whatever? I remember that at some point. And you're like, yeah, you've got room. You've got plenty of room. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not sure we're the two best people to be judging this, but let's go with it.
Actually, Ethan brings up a good point that Jesse writes about spiders. And so does Greg. And so, maybe Jesse needs to join yours, Jessica, and Greg's evil East. What was it? Dukes of the East?
The Counts of the East.
That's it. The evil Counts of the East with your spider friends and bees.
Yeah. We did have, we had those were the days. Mm-hmm. We tried to take over the world. Yeah.
I mean, you almost succeeded. You could have got along fine.
We did almost succeed. We would have won, but I accidentally clicked the wrong button and made us lose.
Look, life is complicated, okay? It's complicated.
In true Skeletor fashion, evil wins. Evil does not win because we are generally stupider at some point.
Because you can't get along. When you couldn't get along, you press the wrong button.
You gotta be smarter right until the end. That's how evil works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Smart right until the actual important part, and then you're not smart anymore.
See? Spoken like writers. We need our happy endings. So this book, it's supposed to be a 3-part series. Do y'all have ideas about what's happening with the rest of the series, like where the big ending is?
I do. I have it loosely plotted in my brain where I wanted to get to. I'm playing around with some things. It's kind of a challenge working in somebody else's world like that. I don't want to do something that's going to go completely contrary to what Kevin has envisioned, obviously. And the added challenge is now I'll have other people's canon to work with, which I think can be a really big benefit. I don't think it's a hindrance, but it's definitely something that we'll have to all get used to the second round, right? That's what's going to be really interesting
as
when the
things
second
change.
books come out. Yeah.
Yep, it's fun. Northern Lights wants to know, how did you name the horses? As you can see, the horses on the cover are Mag's companions.
Yeah, the horses are named for a children's game, Duck, Duck, Goose.
There you go.
Yeah.
It was a very complicated process.
Yeah, I just was trying to think of two names that, somebody might think went together from something. And I also just thought it was funny to call a horse Duck.
I mean, Mags has been around a long time. She's got to do whatever she can to entertain herself.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could have named them like Roger and Carl, but it doesn't quite have the same punch as Duck and Goose. So,
book two, we'll see. Brand new ones. They'll be Rogers and Carls. The first story in this that sets this whole thing off is in the anthology Last Night at the Jolly Chicken.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what changed between writing that story and then creating the entire novel. What did you change about Mags's character, if anything?
I wouldn't say I changed too much about her character. I had to write the short story pretty quick as I was plotting the first draft of the book, because mine was due, well, that's another whole story, but mine was due pretty quick, obviously, because I'm the second one out. So I had to kind of bang that short story out, and I had a lot of fun with that. That, like, writing the dialogue with the gods and all that stuff was a lot of fun. And I love the concept that, someone's telling the story in an inn and they get it wrong. They get everything about the story wrong. And so that was a lot of fun. What changed about her? I mean, she's at the beginning of the story, she's kind of like, doesn't know, is kind of aimless, and she's working towards a goal, but the goal is not necessarily one she wants to achieve. So the goal is going to happen eventually. She doesn't know when, but she's not really prepared for the execution of it, literally. And and then she's given something else to do in life, and that changes her approach. And I do feel like there's a shift in her inner thought personality towards the end of the book, because she definitely, is changed by these interactions with these people that she sort of picks up along the way.
And I'll say we call the three people, the three kids. I mean, kids by us because we're old, right? They're young adults that she picks up. That we like to call them the idiots, but none of them are idiots. So, well, one of them maybe a little. Why did you decide to bring them into the story with Mags? What do they add to her? So
they give her people to interact with. She prefers not to interact with people, and that's the rule, right? Whatever the character prefers not to do, I'm going to make the character do that. So she prefers animals. She prefers to just kind of like move through this long life that she has, not really connecting, and yet always connecting. That's the funny thing. I thought I wrote that in as kind of a joke, is she doesn't want to be connected, and yet everywhere she goes, she's connected to somebody, and that's kind of an in-joke for the D&D people too. So,
yeah, she knows somebody at every inn, man.
She wants to act like she's not connected, and she feels like, okay, I can't make these connections with people. It's too hard. And yet everywhere she is connected to everyone she meets. So, she's a walking contradiction, which is always fun.
Yep. 100%. I love it. No, we love that. Call back to D&D, knowing someone in every town. But she's a bounty hunter and she's had a long life. I mean, it makes
Yeah,
sense too.
it totally makes
So
sense.
yeah, it makes sense. She would have some connections. Otherwise, how is she going to get bounties? So
And she
it
can't be
makes sense.
surly about it because she's never going to get any help from anybody. And, you know, she doesn't exactly have magical powers. I mean, she kind of does, but they're not for her to just use whenever she feels like it.
Right. And she didn't exactly ask for them either. So
no, she doesn't enjoy them. She doesn't enjoy them at all.
No, she didn't ask for those. And Jesse, so having read it as an editor, who do you think would enjoy this book? Like what kind of reader?
That's a hard question.
Mhm.
I think that sort of question takes a lot of thinking about.
Mhm.
It's it's a fun story.
Mhm.
And for me, I don't know who wouldn't enjoy a story that is fun. It's an easy read. It's
Mhm.
got some darker, deeper elements that make it like it's not just a romp, but it's a fun, easy story. So anyone who likes fantasy and adventures,
The one.
If you
Yeah.
enjoy words or pages, then you will.
It's also quick paced, and our company, Cursed Dragon Ship Publishing, we like fast paced anyway. So, Jessica, you are a natural fit for that. So it's very fast paced. It's one of those you pick it up and you read it. Like you don't stop. You just read the whole thing. So I really liked that element of it. It's really fun. And the first book in this entire adventure, Jen Bears, it was the same way, right? It's just quick read. Man, you pick it up, you read it all the way through. Was that your intention when you started this, or is that just where the story naturally went?
It's always my intention. I'm not sure I've ever written anything that wasn't kind of like that. I really want it to be, because that's what I enjoy reading myself. I want to be sucked into it. I want good characters, an interesting situation, and then let's move through it. I don't want to have to put it down. I want you to get in trouble with your mom because you were reading instead of doing your homework or whatever. I mean, don't do that, but like, and it's not for kids.
Trouble for that.
Yeah, I used to all the time. Like, you're supposed to be cleaning. I'm reading this book. I'm like, okay. But yeah, that's it. That's how I usually approach it. I like a fast-paced story. I like something that wraps up, and gives you a little few things to think about. But I'm not like gonna bore. I'm not gonna give you a bunch of philosophy. Probably. I don't know it, so I can't. I mean, I know some of it, but yeah, it's not interesting to me. So I just want it to be fun. And this book, when I was writing it, I was thinking of the things that made me love fantasy, and the things that I love in fantasy. Like, I mean, shock of shocks. I was like the He-Man kid, right? I loved He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I loved Red Sonja. I love Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Barbarian was the first comic book I ever bought. And that was a weird thing because it's full of sexy times and things like that. But anyway, I bought it anyway. I just like the swords. I like swords. Always have. I like lightsabers and swords and sword fighting. It's fun to me. Mm-hmm. So, people that that grew up in the 80s watching He-Man, who in the 90s, I cannot stress this enough. If you enjoy a good solid episode of Xena the Warrior Princess, you will enjoy this book. And I meant for you to. That's what I love. That's the vibe I'm going for with this. Even with the irreverent take on the gods, right? Like, that's very Xena. And it's a lot of fun to write, a lot of fun to watch. And that show was always fun to watch. So, the Xenites of the world, there's an actual name for them. They probably will enjoy this story.
Oh, 100%. No, I can see the vibes. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Northern Light says that she almost called into work to read this book.
Please don't get fired.
We appreciate that, but yeah, we can't pay your rent. Trust me. I mean, we can't get Jessica another monitor. We certainly can't. Anyone's rent. And Ethan says, if you like your main character to be a tortured soul, this book is for you. Yeah, she's literally a tortured soul.
Yes, she is. Although I would say I was kinder to her than I have been to other characters I have written in the past. I have been kinder to her.
Yeah, Jen says Xena and Gabby were awesome. They were awesome.
Objective truth.
That's right. See, we're all on board. No wonder we love this story so much. It works. The So let's get to some more stuff about this awesome story. So, like, Jesse, who is your favorite character when you were reading it?
I like the horses. Is that the wrong answer?
No, there's no wrong answer, first of all. Second of all, no, I get it. These horses have a lot of personality. Yeah. Yeah. Which, by the way, it means a lot. Keep reading the book. So yeah, so the horses were the best. I love that. And Jessica, how about you?
My favorite character.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I guess I could say Mags. I think that's the easy answer. I actually, in my head, the character that I wish that I like a lot and I want to do more with is Eldon the Flea. He's a lot of fun. He is an idiot, but yet not. You know, he's got potential. They all have potential, and but he was a lot of fun to write, especially like when he's trying to be more important than what he is, or trying to act like he's competent and he's not. That's a lot of fun, and that was where when I actually pitched the idea to Kevin, you know, I kind of conceived this as dummies go do heists, you know, and so that's kind of where a lot of it starts from, is like, okay, we have a plan and now someone screwed up this plan, I have to readjust. But that's the fun of any kind of adventure kind of story. But yeah, Eldon the Flea is probably the one. I have to say that Matchy the Huntress might be my spirit animal. I really enjoy writing her being mad about having to be Matchy the Huntress, kind of. So that was fun too.
Yeah, Florida Kevin says that he liked Quahog the best because you wrote him with so much empathy. And
Yeah.
there's not a lot of empathy in those gods.
No, one got all of it, the other got none of it. So.
Yep, for sure. The Avatar says that they bought Baldur's Gate 3 just to pet the animals. So they get you, Jesse. They get the horse thing.
Oh yeah, I have the Diablo 4, and I got 2 wolves that will follow me around and will attack whoever I tell to. Plus, I got a bird that'll crap on people and poke their eyes out, which is also a callback to D&D. But when I got all of that, I was like, my life's complete.
I'm good now.
Yeah.
Everything's good. Yes, just like Ori. Exactly. Awesome. And everyone, make sure to buy the book. We have the link in there, so you can get that book now, so that you will be prepared for the excitement of the next series. And I'm trying to scroll to find Jay's question because it was really important.
Yeah, is everyone being good about questions? They're not asking any math or anything like that, right? I said no math.
Yeah, okay. You know, now that you said that, we're going to get all the math questions. You know that, right?
Well, I don't understand those questions and I won't respond to them. So.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Florida Kevin says 2 wolves, a bird, and a second monitor. Is that a math question? Is that?
Yeah, and it's a joke if you just add walk into a bar.
I mean, if the monitor is a monitor lizard, this could totally work. Let's say Jay asked a very serious question. She wants to know, what's Jessica's favorite way to eat your corn? I mean, you have a tattoo now. Corn is very important to you.
Yeah, I would say my favorite way to eat corn is elote, Mexican street corn.
There you go. Good choice. There you go, Jay.
Or creamed.
Oh no! See, you did it now. You did it.
She knows the answer to those questions, but I'm not sure why she asked.
She wanted to see you struggle on screen. She didn't know you were going to just pull it off so seamlessly.
Yeah, awesome. She already knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's so many fun corn things. You know, the corn isn't in this book at all. I don't think. Is there corn in this world?
I did not specifically write any corn into this story.
I don't remember corn.
I don't recall writing corn into the story. I think I wrote some fish in a couple of times. Fish was a pretty big thing in the story. I've never used fish so derogatory before. Oh, okay, I have, but yeah.
You're like, oh wait, I have.
Oh,
Right,
wait,
okay.
I have. I lied. No, but that kind of brings up, we had continuity editors, which was a new thing. I mean, all this was new for me. Like having this kind of editing was really new for me because I've self-published before, had editors, but it's not the same thing. And having a continuity editor was probably the most terrifying part, but at the end of it, it was really satisfying. Because there was a few little things added. She was like, maybe try this word for this, or in this world they do this. And when I reread it, I was like, that was it. That was like the little sprinkle, right? Like the little fairy dust over the top of it that really kind of pushed it into the world even more for me. And I think it really added something to it. So Shannon Winton is awesome.
Yes.
And it was a great experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's awesome. We have to get her on here one of these days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's helping keeping us all together. So she's fantastic.
That job is, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, she's incredible. That's why we signed her on. And she edited all of the first series, Misplaced Mercenaries. So she was already familiar with the world. So she makes sure to keep us in line. So that's always a fun one. Jesse, was there anything, what was the biggest challenge in editing this book?
You ask these questions, and I don't know. It's the same way it was a benefit knowing Jessica first. It also is kind of challenging working with someone you know because there's an emotional investment in them as a person, and you're like, okay, as professional, might feel one way, but as a person who knows this person and likes them, but I don't think I actually ended up having anything to say that would cross that line. So it didn't matter, but it was an underlying fear of, I don't want to hurt her feelings if I think something and need to say it. And it's.
Yeah. Well, you did it because the book's freaking awesome. So,
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, the first time you got it was in a really rough draft. Because Jessica, have you ever had a book harder to write considering what was going on in your personal life?
No, I actually haven't. This is a book that I'm continually surprised got done on any sort of time frame. So, I mean, my time got moved up a little bit. Some scheduling things happened. So my deadline got moved up and I was like, oh, totally. I'm fine with this. I'm a fast writer. I know what I'm going to do here. It's all good. I get through the holidays. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take Christmas off and just calm down. I got everything outlined. And then January hit and I got COVID. And I got COVID, fairly nasty strain of COVID where I was down for quite a while. So that was awful. And, it was a really busy time, the beginning of the year when you have a job like outside of writing, I guess, I'm inside of writing or whatever. It's always stressful and busy at any job you have. So I was busy there, sick. We went to Superstars. I had to learn how to be at altitude, which having like a half of a lung from COVID was not easy. I was really sick at Superstars and didn't feel like myself, and just was ill. And I would just kept pressed on, I was like, all right, I just got to sketch this out. And, it's really short. I know it's short. It needs more stuff to it, but I kind of know what I want to do with that. I'm going to give it off and let the editor take a look at it. And, Jesse knew that going into it. Okay, this is short. You have plenty of room to go with it. Keep moving. And she confirmed everything that I already had in my head about what needed added. Like, kind of, we were totally on the same page. The second draft rolls around and I had some other issues. I had some like little hangers on inside my abdomen that had to get surgically removed. So the whole time I'm working on this, I don't feel good. I'm really sick with COVID and everything else going on. And I just had to keep pressing forward. I finished the final edits recovering from like complete abdominal surgery. So I'm surprised that they're coherent because I was probably, on painkillers, but it just worked out. It was just one of those things. You got to gut it out. You've got to do it. The first draft is going to be crap. I learned a lot about myself writing, how my process is. Because when you're self-published, you do it yourself. I set my own time frame, right? It's like, okay, well, if I don't publish it, who cares? No one's gonna. I'm the one in charge of it all, so I don't care. It was different, and I knew that I had to make this happen for the other writers that come behind me, because if I'm way off, then they're going to be way off, and they're excited about their opportunity too. And I did not want to be the one who yucked anybody else's yum. I did not want to destroy this project for anybody else, but it was tough. It was really tough. And I mean, I know you saw it like every week, like, okay, she's sick. She is ill. But it worked out. Like, yada, 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 book got written. It's done.
It's pretty impressive. It's probably lucky that this was the book you were working on where other people did depend on you, because I can't imagine bothering to write with everything else that was like, look, I can't do this right now. And you're like, I have to do this.
Yeah, so, no, I did. Yeah. I'm not just working on this book. I'm working on another book too. So I always had something I had to be doing, which is good for me. Like, given free time, I tend to make bad choices, so it's fine. I needed something to do. Keeps me off the streets.
Keeps you busy. I love it. Well, Jessie, you are starting on your next book in this series, so have a very different tone. Are you excited about the next project?
I am. I'm enjoying it thus far.
Excellent. Yeah, Ethan's on right now, so. Yes, she's tackled Ethan's, Jessica.
Oh, well, that's a challenge and a half. Just kidding. He's awesome. He's my buddy.
Wonderful so like far. It is very different.
Oh, yes. we do not write the same. We were in that's how I met him. I was in a critique group with him. But we have a mutual admiration. Well, I admire his stuff. I think he mutually admires mine. So
he does. He said some awesome stuff about you. Yeah, Ethan also says that he's not nervous at all, Jessie. So we're good. Totally, not at all.
I don't know why you'd
not
be.
nervous.
I'm not scary.
It's just editor. As soon as you put that editor title on, it scares people. Let's face it. It's just what happens. But you're right. You're not scary, especially considering I think you put all your demons in your work. So you yourself are like all like, smiley and stuff, at least with us, right? Like, I don't know what, your family sees, but for us, you're just always amazing. So, it's all good. Florida Kevin really, really wants Jessica and Jessie to like fight. Florida, he's like, who would win in a fight, Jessica or Jessie? Or maybe a spelling bee or sock darning contest?
Well,
apparently he wants some competition.
A spelling bee, the money is on her for sure. I don't know.
Sock darning?
Sock darning. I don't even know how to do that. I can crochet.
I can't do that.
Oh. How about underwater mermaid ballet dance off?
I don't know ballet.
I don't know.
I could do a thing with my hands.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know anything about that, and I can't breathe underwater. So that's out.
Well, that's point to me. I can't actually breathe underwater, but I can stay under there for a while, so.
Well, there you go. It looks like it's even split between those battles. It depends on which one.
It's just it's one for the ages. It'll just have to exist in perpetuity. The battle rages on.
Florida Kevin says that he's not scared of his editor. I mean, she could kick my ass, but she's really far away.
That won't stop her.
Yeah, that's right. It's not going to stop. I travel. Yeah, we'll work it. Yeah, Ethan says that he's a fanboy of Jessica's work. There for the emotional trauma. Now, I have to say that Mags, like everything she does, she goes through a severe amount of pain. Like everything that when she has to harvest someone, she goes through a severe amount of pain for that. When she deals with the wolf, there's this thing with the wolf that's part of the hunter thing, which is so cool. That was probably my favorite scene. I loved that scene. So with the wolf that she has going on, so there's a lot of pain. And I always wondered if everything you were going through personally is that why so much pain came through? Do you think that would have been the same kind of thing that would have been happening if you'd written it otherwise?
Yeah, because I enjoy making people suffer in books. Yes. And I respect people that have these high tolerances for pain, right? I really respect that. Like when you, I just like watched John Wick 4 a couple weekends ago or last weekend, and the dude just keeps going. He gets shot a couple times and stabbed, and he's like, I'm all right. He just keeps killing people. So I respect that kind of like Terminator, like just keep moving towards it mentality. And I like writing it. It's fun.
I love it. That's very cool. Avatar says when she goes to the IRS, she deals with a ton of pain.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why we like this world. No IRS. I mean, there's warlords and, horrible gods and goddesses, but no IRS.
I think someone tries to tax someone in this. I mean, it wouldn't really be my story if someone didn't try to extort money in a stupid way from somebody else.
That's true. There is. There is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's totally in there. So if you had to give the elevator pitch for this story, what would you say?
I would say if you like your, fantasy, light, fairly easy to pronounce names, that was important to me. No. If you like a fast-paced adventure story that it's not all answered for you in the end. There are things that are cliffhangers that are fun to think about. If you like the idea of found family, that was important to me in the story. If you like, emotion along with irreverence and dark humor, I think you would like this book. It's a fun adventure story. It does have some deeper, darker meanings for me, and I hope it does for everybody else. But at the end of the day, I just want it to be like an episode of cool fantasy TV that you watched and enjoyed for your hour, and then you went about your business.
Perfect. Exactly what this is. Sometimes you just need to escape. That's why we say escape the mundane. In this book, 100% will have you escape the mundane. And mind you, we're saying this is a quick read, but it's not a light read. There are some big things in here. So, Jessie, if you had to put a warning on this book, what would the warning be? I'm asking you all the hard questions. I think it's more fun.
Oh, no, why you keep doing that?
You asked me about how I like to eat corn. You're like, Jessie, tell us all about existential dread.
Oh, yeah, tell us about that, too.
I wouldn't put a warning on the book. I wouldn't do that.
No warning?
No warning.
Aww.
But
I would put the warning. Be careful. You're gonna call off work tomorrow.
See, you knew the warning. I don't know why you asked me.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
Honestly, it's fantasy. It's obviously fantasy for adults. The whole series is not YA. This is not a YA book, but there's nothing in this book that I wouldn't let a teenager read. I mean, there's some cussing in it. There's some curse words. Mm-hmm. Kevin's pretty famous for his creative cursing in his books, and I wanted to do a little bit of justice to that. I did it in a couple places, but it's not overdone. It's not like I would be. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think this book can get banned in Florida or the KDISD.
Yeah, it can. Because there's some LGBTQ representation in this. It will 100% be banned.
Then I take that back and say, with great pleasure, it will be banned in the KDISD.
And I shall proudly put that on the book. Yep.
I want a sticker that says that banned.
Would be banned in Florida. We could put that on almost all of our books, I think. We could, pretty much. Mm-hmm.
Any good books probably got it on there, so I'm in good company.
Exactly. Excellent. So do you have any last words for the reading audience before they go off and read your book?
No, I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you have fun and you wonder what's coming next. I hope that you can't wait till the next one comes out.
Yeah, we're excited for it too. So Jessie, where can people find you and your work?
I have a webpage, jessiespragg.com, and it links to all my books and all my stuff.
So you can get on there, see all the excitement and the horror and the spiders.
And all my books are on Amazon, and I'm not actually taking on new editing clients right now, so I'm booked.
Sorry, she's all ours. You can't have her. And Jessica, where can people find you and your work?
In a van down by the river, usually. Sometimes at the Island Grill on Saturdays. Yeah, I'm on Amazon everywhere books are sold. So you can find me there. I have an author page on Amazon. I also have a website. It's shockingJessicaRainey.com. That's
shockingly.
So, and you can go there and sign up for my newsletter if you like. My newsletter is, I strive for it to be weirdness every month, like a little weird fact, something that went through my brain and I had to research it a little bit and then put it out there. I like stuff like that. And you also get free short stories and such, and you can keep track of where I'm going to be, which is probably a good thing for a lot of people. Safer that way.
And we should probably mention also, for anyone local to the Houston area, you are having a celebration this Saturday for the book launch.
Yeah.
You want to tell us the details for that?
Yeah, so I will be hanging out at Just Love Coffee in the exciting, well, I'm not even sure it's in Tomball, but its address is Tomball, Texas, Just Love Tomball. It's a fun little coffee shop here close to my house. I wrote most of the book there, and other books too, but almost all of this book was written there for sure. And they're great people. They have waffles, lots of waffles. So you can come have waffles. And little sweet treats, and it's just going to be fun from 1 to 4 on this Saturday.
So anyone local, we hope to see you there. And everyone else, thank you so much for coming. We will see you all. We will do this again on Sunday. We are doing the cover reveal for Kevin Petway's first book in this Misplaced Adventures series. His is the Wrong Way series, and the first book is Wrong Way to Heaven, and we'll have that cover reveal this Sunday, 3 p.m. Central. Just like this, we shall dual stream. We maybe even have Facebook figured out by then, so we'll figure it out. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.